Hello, everyone. I'm Kevin Wilson, the ACBL Clubhouse Manager here on BBO. In this video, I'll be looking at hands and discussing some of the interesting points in both the bidding and the play that may be useful in your own bridge game. All right, let's jump in. On this first hand, no one is vulnerable. You are playing match points, and you are playing as South, and there are three robots at the game, but your partner North opens one club. And I think everybody would respond one spade. The next hand bids two diamonds, and your partner bids two spades. What are you thinking about when partner bids two spades? There are a couple of interesting points I think that are worth mentioning. Partner's two spade bid is supposed to show four card support. If partner had only three cards support in spades, partner would make a support double. And the fact that partner bid two spades means that partner is suggesting that they have four card support. Part of the Gibbo system is support doubles. So also partner's two spade bid should be a range. And what is the approximate range for partner's two spade bid? Any thoughts about that? Well, it should be about 12 to maybe even as many as 15 using support. 12 to 14 is okay. I think maybe even as many as 15. All right, so what about for you? Are you going to consider bidding? And if you are going to consider bidding, what are you going to consider bidding? And, sort of where do you stand with trying to bid again or passing? Well, one thing I think that you know is I think that you have a 10 card fit in spades. So, in theory, there could be some safety in bidding for spades, in that if you don't make it, perhaps your opponents will have a contract that they could have made. But the opponents haven't competed higher than two diamonds yet. And so maybe some of you hope to say, well, you know what? If I don't have to compete to four spades, then I won't compete to four spades. Maybe three spades is enough. Or maybe you could make an invitational bid. Now, two no trump is an invitational bid, but two no trump would be a playable contract here. So partner might pass you in two no trump or might bid three no trump, um, which obviously then you could bid four spades over. But I wouldn't want to bid two no trump because I think there's too good of a chance that partner would pass. There are two other bids, though, that I think you might consider. I think you might consider bidding three clubs. And I think you might consider bidding three hearts. Both of those would be considered game invitational bids. So if you aren't willing to go all the way to four spades, you could make one of those two bids as a game invitational bid. Just because my hearts are a little bit better, I slightly prefer three hearts. And that's the bid that I made at the table. I bid three hearts. Should be clear to partner that that is game invitational. And I have something in hearts as my second suit. Maybe that will help you decide whether or not we should go to game, and partner does in fact bid game. Now you get the opening lead of the 10 of clubs, and this is what? Well, thank you. Two diamonds was just a normal overcall. Did I miss something here? Oh, let me go back for a second. West just bid two diamonds. Oh, three diamonds I think might be intended as game forcing because you have shown because your strength is unknown, I wouldn't want to risk bidding three diamonds, as partner might think that's game forcing. It kind of depends on how strong you think your hand is and whether or not you're really willing to commit to four spades. If you're willing to commit to four spades, then I think that you should just bid four spades. I think that three diamonds would show a stronger hand than either three clubs or three hearts. Well, I was about to get to that once we get to the 10 of clubs lead. I'm a little surprised that partner would bid only two spades. Now, the problem is that when you're playing with the robots come close to their bids, but they don't always have their bids. I certainly would have preferred a jump to three spades with the North cards. That jump to three spades shows about 16 to 18, and you can include support points since you have found a fit, and you're announcing a fit by the raise to three spades. So yes, I think North underbid when they bid only two spades. But I also have a motto about I try to strive to make game invitational bids, but then I don't necessarily strive to accept game invitational bids. Otherwise, I find that people get when both part pair when both people in the partnership are aggressive, I find sometimes you get too high. But I do agree that North should have jumped to three spades, and had North jumped to three spades, I think that you would have bid four spades. So I don't think that there is any issue there. What about this contract? How do you plan on playing this contract? And how would you read the 10 of clubs as an opening lead? Well, with West having bid two diamonds, there's no question that this 10 of clubs is either a singleton or possibly a doubleton. But there's no other holding that West would lead the 10 of clubs from. Even if West had a holding such as 10-9 third, there's just no way West would have chosen a club lead. West would always lead their own suit or possibly a heart. If you want to make predictions about the diamond suit, though, I do think you could make some predictions there because if West had solid diamonds like the ace, king, queen of diamonds, I think West probably would have preferred a diamond lead to a singleton club lead. So I would suspect if you were going to put any card into East's hand, it would be perhaps the ace or more likely the king of diamonds. If West had the ace, queen of diamonds, that would make diamonds a less attractive lead. Also, with the overcall, you can put most of the cards, most of the missing honors in the West hand. Well, it looks as though you're going to have two or three losers depending on the spade situation. Ah, good to know that. I did intend you to see only these cards, but since you can see them all, it's okay. I think winning the ace of clubs is certainly right, and taking a spade. Now, in theory, when you have 10 cards and you're missing the king, then you should, of course, finesse. If you have 11 cards missing the king, you should play for the drop. But with 10 cards missing the king, the statistics say you should finesse. Well, the only thing here is that you are going to potentially have a club ruff. For example, if you finesse and it loses, West might play a diamond over to the East hand and then get a club ruff. So in this hand, I think the odds also with West having bid, West might need the king of spades. So I think it's right to take the ace and then play on your clubs and hope to pitch something. But of course, West is going to rough in. And the hand gets less exciting as West cashes the ace of hearts and then cashes the ace of diamonds. And from this point, you can claim. All right, now that this is sort of where I intended for you to see all the cards, what do you think now about the bidding and the play? I think one thing that's worth noting is that East and West could have had a sacrifice in five diamonds. And had you not bid four hearts, I think that four hearts has a chance to make. Unlikely given the fact that you have the nine of hearts, but there you go. Okay, let's move on to our second deal. This time I'll show you only the south hand as that's what I intended. Now these are part of the clubhouse hands with Kevin. So if you play once a month in the ACBL Clubhouse games here on BBO, then you will have these hands be a possibility for you to play as a free tournament each week. And so we're discussing some of the hands from that tournament. Okay, on this hand, you have 15 high card points, but East is the dealer, and East passes. Just want to make sure. Yes. So what would you think about opening? In my mind, there is only one choice to open, but I see many people choosing to open hands such as this with one no trump to show a balanced hand with 15 to 17. I think that's a horrible plan, especially with this particular distribution. There are occasions when it's certainly right to open one no trump with a five card major, and that is the robot style. But here, where you have such a clear and easy rebid, I think you're much better off opening one heart than you are to open one no trump. Although, to be honest, when I watch people or see people, I see a lot of people opening one no trump with hands such as this. There's a couple problems. Number one, if partner transfers to spades, then you may have a great heart fit and never find it because you're playing in spades. But you open one heart, partner bids two hearts, and now East, who did not open, decides to bid two spades. What are your thoughts here? And what do you think about bidding again? Would you bid again? And sort of what processes are going through your mind here? Partner should have 6 to 10 points. Partner could include support points if they wanted to. Double. And the intention of double is a penalty double. Since East is a passed hand, uh, you think that there's no chance that East could make 8 tricks? Three clubs. Three clubs would be a game invitational hand and would show a second suit of clubs, would basically allow a partner to interpret three clubs as we're going to play in hearts, but I don't know if the right contract is three hearts or four hearts. So please reevaluate your hand for clubs and hearts and then make a decision. That is the bid that I chose. I chose three clubs, and my partner accepted my invitation by bidding four hearts. That was the end of the bidding, and we got a spade lead. Now, what do you think about partner's two-heart bid? Well, I liked partner's two-heart bid. Some people who might play conventional responses might have bid three clubs as a Bergen raise with the north hand, showing about 7 to 9 support and four-card heart support. I think that's also very reasonable, but the robot does not play that, and so two hearts would be the textbook bid with the north hand. Now, if you're holding the north cards and you do bid two hearts, you should be aware that if there is additional competition, like the two spade bid, that you are a person who could then compete to three hearts, knowing about the presence of your four card support and realizing that your two heart bid only shows three card support. But here you are in four hearts, and you need to figure out a way to make it. You have a potential heart to lose. You have two potential diamonds to lose, and you have two potential clubs to lose. What is going to be your plan? I will tell you that when you play a low spade, East plays the 10, and you can win either the ace or the king. I think the ace is right. hide the location of the king. Well, who are you going to play for that Queen of Hearts? Do you think it's going to be more likely in the East hand or more likely in the West hand? One vote for the East hand. Any votes for the West hand? Well, part of the reason I think it might be in the West hand is that East, who decided not to open, then felt comfortable enough to overcall two spades. I kind of feel like the only reason East would feel willing to overcall two spades might be because they were short in hearts. So I kind of felt that it was East who was short in hearts, and because of that, I led the King of Hearts first, and then I figure out if I'm going to finesse on the next round or not. But the Queen falls. Yes, this is an eight ever, nine never situation. So in theory, you would want to play the King Ace of Hearts, but you do have a little bit of additional information. The two spade bid by East might change the calculus a little bit. You have to decide for yourself if you think that the bidding that the opponents have done changes your mindset any. But with no information from the opponents, then this is an eight ever, nine never situation. And what we mean by that is you had nine hearts. If we go back to the beginning of the trick, when you start at this point looking exclusively at the heart suit, you have nine hearts. So the odds slightly favor playing the ace and king of hearts, hoping for the queen to fall, rather than playing one high honor and then finessing. The good news is your losers have now gone from five to four. But what's the plan here? Well, your only plan to really make this is to hope that you can establish diamonds and that you'll get two discards in diamonds, and those two discards in diamonds will allow you to discard two clubs from your hand, and then you'll lose two diamonds and one club. Now, do you think that you want to lead diamonds from the dummy, or do you think you want to lead diamonds from your hand, or does it even matter? Well, East appears to have something in spades. You don't know exactly what, but not more than the Queen Jack and the Queen of Hearts. So East is very likely to have one, if not both, diamond honors, and one, if not both, club honors. Finesse the 10 and the 8 of diamonds. Well, I think you're on the right track. I think one of the most important principles in bridge is to lead towards your honors and not away from your honors. So in that case, I'd be talking about leading diamonds from your hand towards the diamonds. Well, the spade king after diamonds, your opponents are very likely going to continue spades when they get in. So while that might be a thought, really how to play the diamond suit would probably be your focus from here. And then my next question is, would you want to draw two more rounds of trump? Would you want to lead a diamond right now? Or what it would be the plan from here? Draw two more rounds of trump first. Yes, you will need a heart as an entry. I agree. I think, though, as long as you're careful, you can keep that eight of hearts as an entry. I'm sorry, the nine of hearts has an entry. East wins the king of diamonds and plays a spade. Now you lead a diamond and you're going to have to think about whether or not you want to finesse in diamonds. But because you have correctly led diamonds from your hand twice, West is in a no-win situation. If West plays low, you'll win the diamond, and now you won't lose two diamonds. You'll just lose one diamond. You can turn your attention to clubs, and you can lose two clubs, eventually trumping your last club with the nine of hearts. If instead West plays the ace of diamonds, well, now you'll have the scenario you had hoped for, and you'll be able to. West did win, played the queen of clubs, and you could, as long as you saved an entry to the dummy, as everybody discussed, and then you can now take your two diamonds and just lose one more club. As long as you let diamonds from your hand twice, you are going to be successful. But if you had gone over there and led the queen of diamonds from the dummy, they might have rode that around to the ace, and then you might have not had two winning diamonds. So we talk about a lot of times leading towards your honors. This one here, an unusual but very good example as to why we do that. Well, perhaps if West had led the queen of clubs, then you would have not had a chance to make this. But West naturally led the suit that partner overcalled. So I don't think we could fault West for choosing to lead a spade. The queen of clubs might give away the whole club suit and might be very bad for you. But I certainly agree that had West led the queen of clubs, then you would have very likely gone down. Okay, any other thoughts or comments with this one? Anybody want to guess how many match points you got for your plus 620? Again, these are preliminary. First, you did correctly bid the game, and then you played it well. No, West led a fourth best spade. The robots don't lead top of nothing, nor do I recommend top of nothing against a suit contract. Well, you got 81% of the match points for bidding and making four hearts. That's a good point with about, was North justified in bidding game with that club suit? I don't think so. I think more North might have decided to bid three diamonds instead, saying, hey, I don't have much help in clubs, but I do have something nice in diamonds. I guess if you think about it, North felt they were on the top of their bid for a couple of reasons. They did have 8 high card points. They could add 1 point for having a doubleton spade. So maybe that got them to 9. They felt that was a maximum. And they also did have a fourth heart, which at the time they bid 2 hearts, they hadn't showed that. So I think it's close as to whether or not North should have bid four hearts. I think I might have tried to, quote, re-invite, unquote, by bidding 3 diamonds with the North hand, but we might just be splitting hairs. At some point, somebody has to make a decision. Also, perhaps North knows what a great player you are, and they have every confidence that you'll take all the possible tricks. Ha ha ha. Okay, on this hand, your partner opens 1 diamond. The next hand passes, and you, of course, respond 1 spade. And your partner raises two spades. What would you bid next? Yes, these sessions will definitely be best if you participate in the discussion, and I want you to feel free to ask questions, make comments, challenge me. Uh, the sessions are definitely best with some input. Well, I think you certainly have enough for game, but whether or not you have enough for slam is a little bit of a different story. In theory, you might be close to slam, but partner's two spade bid has limited their hand. They're somewhere in the 11 to 15 range. So probably only enough for game. So I think game is the right bid, and you bid game. And now the opening lead is the Queen of Diamonds. The Queen of Diamonds does appear to be a friendly raise. Why did partner raise with three? Well, good question. What do you suppose partner might have bid other than two spades? But why don't we hold the bidding questions until the end, and right now focus on playing four spades. It appears as though you have three diamond tricks, and a heart trick is four, and seven spades are 11. It looks like you may have a whole lot of tricks. Also, though, this Queen of Diamonds, what can you read from this Queen of Diamonds lead? What can you tell about East's diamonds from this lead? Well, you should be able to see that the Queen of Diamonds is either a singleton or a doubleton. Because you have the Jack of Diamonds in your hand, this must be a shortness lead. If East had three or more diamonds, East would have led a lower one. So you know that East has relatively short diamonds. Could be one, could be two. Well, I wouldn't want to win the king because if you win the king, you'll have to play the jack underneath of it. And if you play the jack underneath of it, the jack won't be able to score a trick later on. So I think that you definitely want to ride this around and win your ace. And then what is next? Pretty sure everybody's going to say draw trump. Do you want to start with the ace or do you want to start with low to the king? Maybe it doesn't matter. Let's say you start with the ace and you find out that West doesn't have any. Now you have a spade loser in addition to your heart loser and your diamond loser. What do you want to do next? This is a very challenging point in the hand, and I don't think that the answer will be so obvious. Let's say, for example, that you draw another trump. Okay, and then what? Maybe now you play a diamond to your jack, and then a heart to dummy. Unfortunately, you're going to go down because West over here is going to lead a club. East is going to draw trump. and then cash their good club. And even though you have the rest, you'll be down one. Now, when I declared this hand, I play the hands before I do the presentation. I did also go down one. However, I think if you play it a little bit more carefully, you'll see that you could have made it. But first, we'll talk about the bidding. We'll go ahead and show all the hands. Partner's pretty close on their one diamond opening bid, but they used the rule of 20. You add your high card points to the length in your two longest suits. The hand meets the rule of 20, and I would open the hand. I did open the hand when I played it. And then the first question was, why would partner raise with only 3? Well, what would you rebid with the south hand? And I think this is a very important question. You could rebid one no trump. That would show 12 to 14, but you do have that singleton club, and that doesn't appear to be the best rebid. If you rebid 2 hearts, that would be a reverse, typically 16 or 17 or more high card points. So you're not strong enough to reverse. So 2 hearts is eliminated as a possibility. Now you could also rebid 2 diamonds. The only problem is that if you rebid 2 diamonds, you're suggesting that you have 6 or more diamonds. So you're lying about your length there. And 2 spades, partner will expect 4. But one thing about 2 spades is that with that singleton club, you do have a shortness that might be able to be exploited by partner. So when I had to choose, I was choosing between 1 no trump, 2 diamonds, or 2 spades. I decided to rebid 2 spades. You can say that I'm wrong. It's okay. But that did get us to 4 spades, which I think is the best contract. So let's take a look at this again. Ordinarily, the only possible way we could not lose a spade would be to lead a low spade to the king. Technically, leading a low spade to the king is the best because West might have queen third of spades and you would be able to finesse. I didn't do that though because of the queen of diamonds lead. I was pretty sure that if anybody had long spades, it was going to be East. So I played the ace first. Again, perhaps not technically best, but when when West didn't follow and I knew East had a trump trick, went ahead and cashed the jack of diamonds. Maybe East is going to rough this, but they have a natural trump trick coming anyway. They didn't. But by cashing that jack of diamonds, that is where your problems come in because East can score 2 trump tricks if they can trump 2 diamonds. So if you draw another round of trump, then you're likely going to go down because now they can get 2 club tricks. The way to make this hand is to lead the king of clubs next. Now they can't do anything. They can't lead a spade because they'll be giving away their natural trump trick. They could lead a heart, but they can't really do anything from here. Of course, they could lead a diamond and you lose 2 trump tricks this way. You have to not cash the Jack of Diamonds. I did not find this play. I went down. But if you do this, there'll be nothing that East can do. Now a diamond you can still win. You can trump your losing club. And you have a heart winner. The only thing that you can lose from here is the high trump. This looks like a hand where you're going to make over tricks, but it's very tricky to make. And in fact, I did not make it. All right, questions, thoughts, or comments about this one, or I'll go ahead and move on to the other one. On this one, you open one spade. Next hand passes. Partner raises to two spades. And now East doubles. What do you expect East to have for their double? Well, their takeout double would typically show an opening hand, but East has passed. So therefore, East has just less than an opening hand, along with short spades and support for all the other suits. This is still a takeout double, but because East is a passed hand, their strength has been lowered to just less than an opening hand. But what about you? What would you bid over the double? Let's take a poll. Four spades. Well, partner in theory has 6 to 10 points. You might be doing that on very light high card points, but you do have a tremendous spade fit. So you might be able to make this game with 7 spade tricks and maybe 2 heart tricks. And hopefully partner would have the ace or queen of hearts. If partner had the ace of hearts, then you might not need any other cards. Since East doubled, East would probably be likely to have the queen. You have some chances. So I think you should, and I did bid 4 spades. And that ended the auction. And the opening lead was the king of clubs, and this is the dummy that you see. Well, you certainly have 7 spade tricks, and you have the ace of diamonds is 8, but you need 2 more tricks. I guess the good news is that East did double 2 spades, so East probably has the heart cards. And your plan should be to get in, to draw trump, and then to lead hearts towards your hand twice. So you want to be careful about your entries to the dummy to make sure that you can lead hearts towards your hand twice. West, however, switches to the 10 of hearts. East wins, and East returns a club. Okay, your plan shouldn't really change. You still want to ruff, draw trump, and then go to dummy. And lead a heart towards your hand. Once this heart finesse wins, you have your 10th trick. You can try to hope that maybe West has the ace, king, queen of clubs, king, queen of diamonds. It's not going to happen. You score 10 tricks. And what about this hand? Any questions, thoughts, or comments about this? If you think about this, you bid game with 12 high card points opposite 6 high card points. Only 18 high card points. So how did you do that successfully? Well, two things. You recognize that your length in your spade suit, every one of your spades was likely to be a trick. Second, positionally, your king jack of hearts sitting behind the person who doubled, ostensibly showing 10 points or so, and hearts, those cards were more likely to take tricks. So if you decided to bid 4 spades, you should congratulate yourself. You did very well. West is the dealer, and West opens 1 diamond. Your partner passes, and East responds 1 heart. They kind of took your bid. Will you be doing anything, or will you be passing? It doesn't seem like a takeout double is possible. You could bid 2 hearts as natural. Once the opponents have bid 2 suits, the Michaels cubid no longer exists. But with only 9/5, it doesn't seem very likely to do that. So I think pass is the right bid. West rebids 1 no trump, showing 12 to 14. And East raises to game. So here you are defending a 3 no trump contract. Now, I would expect partner to lead either a spade or a club, right? The opponents have bid diamonds and hearts, but your partner, who is a robot, leads a heart. A little bit surprising, but we sort of also know that partner doesn't have a lot of high card points. The opponents have bid game, and we have 11. So we know our partner doesn't have a whole lot. Maybe our partner was looking to find us. And in fact, they did find our 5 card suit. We just don't have very much strength there. But we're defending at match points, so we need to take as many tricks as we can. And let's see how we do. They win the ace. They cash the jack of hearts. Partner throws away a club. So we know our partner started with a singleton, and they led a singleton against no trump. Not generally my thought, but as I explained, they expected us to have some heart length and most of the points, so we can't argue too much. Next, we get the queen of clubs as a play. Our partner covers that. So now we know of the few points that partner has, part of those are the king of clubs. There's not going to be a lot left for partner to have on the hand. But next comes more hearts. Well, partner throws away a spade and another heart. While declarer throws a club and partner a club. Then everyone follows to this club, and here we have to make a very important decision. What will we throw away? It appears that partner does not have any more high card points because the only missing high card points are the ace of spades and the king of diamonds, and declarer really needs both of those in order to have had their opening bid. How many tricks are we trying to take for the defense? And how can we go about getting them? That's the challenge for you. What would you want to discard here? And we can certainly take a poll. Also, we'll mention, I mean, for the advanced players, you're kind of in an ugly situation. You don't want to have to lead a spade out of your hand. If you have to lead a spade out of your hand, you might be giving away a spade trick. You'd really like the opponents to lead spades to you. But please feel free to chat to the table and speak up. What do you think about a discard? Would you want to discard a diamond? Would you want to discard a heart? Or would you want to discard a spade? Which suit will you discard? Give you just another moment to think about it. Well, if you discard a heart, that is a free winner. You hate to throw away winners, but it might give you a little bit more position going on over here. And then will you take the ace or will you play low? For a moment, let's say you take the ace, and then you don't want to lead a spade, so maybe you'll lead another diamond. But declarer is going to be smart, and declarer is just going to play a third diamond to you. And now you're cooked. Declarer will get the rest with the ace of spades and another diamond. You will have given up 11 tricks. Let's say you hold on to that free winner, though, and you discard a spade instead. Now you won't quite be in the same position. Now you can cash your free winner. Now, if declare is smart, they can still play another diamond and play you again, but this time you will have gotten 3 defensive tricks instead of only 2. Be happy to take your questions, thoughts, or comments now that the hand is over. But again, the difference between one of the sayings that I'm, famous for would be I like to say the difference between a 75% game and a 25% game is 1 trick per hand. On this hand, if you held them to just 10 tricks, you'll get much closer to the 75%, whereas if you allow declarer to make 11 tricks, you'll get much closer to the 25%. All right. Let's move on to the next hand. Seeing no questions. Again, this is intended as a discussion. So anytime you see Clubhouse hands with Kevin, you are welcome to ask questions or to chime in at any time. This hand will have a lot more excitement, I think. On this one, your partner opens 1 club, and the next hand makes a takeout double. What would you bid with the south cards? And, do you have any sort of plan as to where you are going? Well, I chose redouble. Redouble shows 10 or more points. And in my eyes, it suggests, yes, good thought. I agree. And it suggests the thought of possibly penalizing the opponents in the contract that they bid. So it tends to deny a very good club fit. Well, West bids 1 heart, and that gets passed back to you. Three no trump. Welcome, Babs. Any choices other than 3 no trump? Babs, I'm going to tell you that I did not bid 3 no trump. Well, believe it or not, I went to try to penalize the opponents. The opponents are going to step into our auction. Sometimes you must penalize them for doing so. And so I chose double, which was indeed a penalty double. I don't think they're going to make 1 heart, and I think that they're vulnerable. If we set them 2 tricks, well, that's going to be 500 points. So we ended up playing in 1 heart doubled. I think maybe partner should have led a trump. Typically against the doubled part score, we would indeed lead a trump. And we also, when we look at East's distribution, not really a classic distribution for a takeout double, but these doubles are becoming more common. Whether or not they're better, I certainly think the East hand would be stronger if it did indeed have a doubleton club, right? Then it would have a roughing value. So, partner continued with a diamond. So partner has a doubleton diamond, and declare has a doubleton diamond. I don't think partner should have necessarily continued with that doubleton diamond, but again, partner is a robot, and that's what partner did. So, of course, Declarer next played a third diamond and threw away a loser while partner ruffed. Okay. Next came a club from partner over to our ace. What should we play now? Another club. Give partner a diamond ruff. I don't think we want to give partner a diamond ruff because partner Declarer is just going to throw away another loser. I think we want to take the club tricks that we have coming, which partner does. Partner changes suits to spades. Player takes their ace. Oops, sorry. And you win the Jack of Hearts. Sure. That's a fair point, but again, partner is trying to add up the situation. It, it, Let me tell you a little bit about your comment about the seven of spades. Sure, the seven of spades is a better play, but Declarer can't really have the king of spades and be messing around in all of these side suits. If Declarer had the king of spades, they'd be taking their three spade tricks. Your redouble also suggests the desire to penalize them. So I don't think it's very likely that you would have the king of spades and have Declarer not have led them. But I will also grant you that the seven of spades is better. Yes. I may have even played the seven. I don't honestly remember. But what should we play next? Who do you suppose has the ace of hearts? I don't think West has the ace of hearts. I think West would have taken the ace of hearts. If West's goal was to draw trump, they would have taken the ace of hearts and led another one. No, I think it's pretty clear that partner has the ace of hearts. So it's definitely right to give partner a ruff. Now, Declarer does pitch a spade. Next, Declarer plays the and then we can try our seven of diamonds, but so this is what happened at the table. Declarer took four tricks for minus 800. Anybody like trying to double them at the one level for penalty? So let me show you a little bit more about this hand. I'll show you all the cards now. We actually slipped a trick on defense. I'm just getting to the contract that we had. They led a diamond, and partner roughed that. Well, we could have done even better. What we needed was for partner to take one more club first. Sorry. Got the timing slightly wrong there. We needed partner to take a club, and then play a club over to us. And now we could have led another diamond. Sure, declare can discard. But partner roughs that. And here, declare is going to be stuck. Declare tries to draw a round of trump. Our partner can lead a spade. And now it doesn't matter what declare does. We can just draw the trump. And we can cash our 7 of diamonds for down 4. There are multiple ways to be down 4. So our defense actually slipped a trick. And we still were able to get 800. Now, hopefully, I'm showing you this hand to inspire you to punish your opponents when they step out of line. They were vulnerable. We were not. Secondly, would you have made a takeout double with the East cards? I think it's a valid question. All right, well, hopefully this hand was intended to show you how a redouble works and to show you how punishing them did. And by the way, I did only defeat it for 800, but my 800 was worth 98%. So I got 98% for plus 800. Okay, I'll stick around for a few minutes and answer any questions that you might have. Yes, I kind of agree with you. I think that the East hand was too flat. If I were going to bid with the East hand, I would have preferred a 1 diamond overcall, because a 1 diamond overcall would have gotten me a diamond lead, something I feel very sure I would like with the East hand. And I think it would be far safer than the takeout double. Now, that doesn't mean that 1 diamond might not have been doubled and gone for a number as well, because after a diamond, I probably would have passed, West would have passed, and partner would have balanced with a double, and I could have left that in. So it didn't mean that 1 diamond was necessarily safer, but I do think it makes more sense. Okay, want to remind you also of for the Clubhouse games. And as I said, if you play in the Clubhouse games once a month, then you'll get access to this free tournament and you can participate in the discussion of the hands. All right, that's it for me. Thank you very much, and on to the next one.